Recently, I came across this article from one of my favorite websites, Wallet Hub, and it lists the best and worst states for jobs. And we're going to look at some of these states, and we're going to see why they rank as high as they do, and we'll also look at some that didn't rank as high. Therefore, they're the worst states, some of the worst states for jobs. So what Wallet Hub did was look for the most attractive states if you are looking for a job in terms of employment. And so they measured 34 key factors, and that included the unemployment rate, job opportunities, so on and so forth. So here's the list, and I'll put this link in the video description below so you can look at this article and analyze it and read it if you wanted to. But as you see, many of the New England states ranked the highest. So if we look in the top 10, you got New Hampshire, number 1, Vermont, number 2. Then you have Massachusetts, and then Maine and Rhode Island. So almost all the New England states ranked and scored pretty well as far as job opportunities and the best states to find a job. The Midwest also is represented here. Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. So if we scroll down here, you'll see in different categories, which I thought this was interesting. So the states with the most job opportunities is North Dakota, Vermont, New Hampshire, South Dakota, and Hawaii. I know Hawaii sounds like it'd be nice to live in. I'm sure it is, but it's probably not practical for a lot of people in the United States to move to Hawaii. And then I'm sure the cost of living is pretty outrageous. So I've heard, but I don't know that for a fact or not. The fewest job opportunities, you have New Jersey, New York, Washington, California, and Nevada. And they have these different categories. I won't go through every single one of these, but you can look through them and see if some of these are interesting to you. If you are considering getting a new job or want to move from where you're at, then you might want to think about some of these states because they rank pretty high on this list. All right, so let's look at some of the top states and why they ranked where they rank. So New Hampshire is number 1. It's the best state for jobs according to Wallet Hub because it has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country. It also ranks 3rd in most job opportunities per capita. The number of available jobs increases every year by almost 2%, so which is the 7th highest in the nation. So there's going to be, not only are there jobs now, there are going to be jobs in the future. And then this is big, retention. Once people get jobs in New Hampshire, they usually keep them. So that's a good thing if job security is a big factor for you. And this is huge. New Hampshire has the lowest percentage of the workforce living in poverty. So that means workers are generally getting paid pretty well, and they can live within their means and pay their bills. So that's interesting. So New Hampshire, congrats. If you work in New Hampshire, leave a comment. If you like working in New Hampshire, why is it that you like working in New Hampshire, living in New Hampshire? I recently went there, traveled all throughout the New England states, in fact, and I was expecting like outrageous cost, paying for gas is going to be out of outrageous, but it wasn't bad. The food, I mean, the cost wasn't bad. Of course, around Boston, it was a little bit more expensive, but most of New England wasn't bad at all. Beautiful people were nice, so I enjoyed my time up there. All right, Vermont ranks 2nd behind New Hampshire. It kind of makes sense since they're neighbors geographically, right next to each other. So that also has a 2% unemployment rate, which is one of the lowest in the country. High average annual job growth rate, 2nd highest in number of job opportunities. They don't stay unemployed for long, so if you're out of work, you more than likely can find work in Vermont fairly quickly. So that's a good thing. This article also states good working conditions. So They work on average 37 and a half hours. How many of you all work around then? Which I know us Americans like to work, and I'm sure that's not the norm, 37.5 hours per week. Usually we're at least 40, 45, 50, sometimes 60, even more than that per week. The commute time is not much, which makes sense because Vermont isn't a big state, and ranks 5th best job security in the nation. So a lot of good things going for New Hampshire and Vermont. And then finally, we want to look outside of the New England region, and let's look at the third best state for jobs, and that is Minnesota. And that income is not bad, adjusted for cost of living at over $82,000, and it has the 10th highest average monthly starting salary. I don't know if that's right. The 10th highest average monthly starting salary. I was like $3,900 a year. What? So a monthly starting salary. So they also have good access to benefits. And let's see, land of 10,000 lakes has one of the lowest unemployment rates in the country, but it also has the 13th most job opportunities. All right, so if you live in one of these states, I'd love to hear from you. If you're recently contemplating moving to one of these states and getting a job in one of these states, or if you've recently got a job in one of these states, New Hampshire, Vermont, Minnesota, I'd love to hear your experiences. And if this article is pretty accurate, go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section below. I do want to mention a few of the ones that rated at the bottom, and that is the state coming in last is West Virginia. 49th was Louisiana, Indiana, Kentucky, Alaska, Montana. That's some of the ones that ranked near the bottom. Now, there's a lot of factors that go into this ranking, 34 of them. So I would love to hear from you all what your experience is, and if this article is accurate. Now, if it is accurate, which I tend to think that it would be, and if you find yourself unemployed or currently employed, but you hate your job and you're looking for a change of scenery, literally, then you might want to think about getting a job in New Hampshire, Vermont, Minnesota, Massachusetts even. Then you might want to strongly consider getting a job in New Hampshire, Vermont, Minnesota. They rank very, very high in job opportunities, salary, cost of living, as far as your salary being enough to fund your cost of living, and low unemployment. And so if having a job, keeping a job is a big deal to you, and having a sustainable salary that funds your cost of living, then you might want to think of moving and getting a job in one of these states. Again, I'll put the link in the description below in this video so you can look at this article if you like, and you can look through the different rankings, see where your state ranks, and I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, if you like to have more videos like this, I appreciate it. Hit that like button and that subscribe button so you can get all the latest videos from this channel.